and welcome. You're watching NewsX and I'm Megha Sharma. A 40-year-old man, according to the police officials, has allegedly killed his two minor daughters at a five-star hotel near Bengaluru's Kempegowda International Airport after his demand for their custody was denied. Police officials are attributing the crime to a marital dispute. However, investigators are also probing other angles to this case. The girls, Sheikh Zahara, who was 8 years of age, and Sheikh Zoya, 10 years of age, were found dead inside the hotel room on Monday. The father, SG Imran, was found injured inside the washroom and was taken to a private hospital where he is undergoing treatment. As per police sources, Imran has confessed to the crime. A murder case has been registered and police will make a formal arrest when he is out of danger. This case has put the focus on custody battles, on domestic disputes and its impact on young children who ultimately are unknowing victims in such familial feuds. Let's start off our conversation. I am at this point of time being joined by Dr. Juhi Arora. She is an advocate at the Supreme Court. Dr. Arora, does this incident shock you?
Of course, it's a big shock to the nation. I guess where are the societies moving now, and it is totally really a good. What kind of a people are coming with the mentality? Then, if they are having some matrimonial dispute, that we can see according to the reports that there is some matrimonial dispute which was going with regards to the wife and the custody battle that the man was already facing. But despite all these things, can a man can go to that extent that he can kill those daughters? Those are underage minor children. Those were actually keeping faith and trust on the father. This is a relationship which is actually humiliated those. What kind of a condition that time daughters was facing when this father was attempting the murder? And now, to be honest, surprisingly, this man has been saved out of that suicide note. And it has been attempt to suicide. Now, murder FIR has already been registered against this man. Now, he should get a rarest of the rare punishment in this case. And I believe police will going to investigate the matter in such a manner that all the evidences should keep in the record.
Okay.
And should come that way that he should not be exempted in just for normal imprisonment or rigorous imprisonment of life imprisonment.
Sanjay Sai, this is perhaps one of the, I in my entire lifetime have not heard or seen a situation, a case like that a man has killed his two kids simply because he could not get their custody in the divorce battle that he has been fighting with his estranged wife. How is our society functioning? How are at this point of time we just so remorseless in a situation that we are willing to kill our child but not let them be with their mother?
The custody battle is one part of the story. There's some infidelity issue also that has been mentioned in the suicide note. Now it is for the police to investigate.
But there's an infidelity accusation or rumors of infidelity are justified for him to kill his children.
There is no reason for which he is justified to kill his children, kill anybody, or even to harm anybody. So that is just outside the purview of this discussion. What I'm telling you is what is there in the suicide note and what the police need to investigate, and they need to get deep into as to what it actually was. These are very, very subjective sort of issues, and any concept of our conventional investigation should not come into play. So a level of fairness where you have empathy and also a nature of mental distress. Now you have been talking about that you are hearing of something of this nature for the first time. So one variant might be it's for the first time, but otherwise in last 3 months, there are 5-6 cases of this nature, inclusive of one in Tumkur and other places also. So there is a tendency wherein if there is a mental distress, so there is nobody to take care of the mental distress, which is primarily, it can be out of a marital discord. There are issues where it is because of financial crisis, also because of mental illness, and at times because of addiction issues also. And there is no coping mechanism, and generally you move into something what you call as a revenge, sort of a suicide or a filicide. This combination of filicide and suicide it is very, very dangerous, and it's something which is being seen on a regular basis at the current juncture. Most of the places where these incidents happen are places which have isolated settings, and the first police moves in is much after the incident happens, much after the murder or the filicide happens. So this is broadly the pattern. So investigation of a different nature is required, and the man should be fixed for whatever he has done. The police also should not get into tangential areas. What is to be proven is that particular crime to the criminal, and the weapon used, and the situation in
Okay,
which this
all
whole thing
right.
has happened, where there is no. Hello?
Yeah, okay, all right. Dr. Manisha Gaur, clinical psychologist, is also on the telecast with me. Dr. Gaur, if you could help us understand, what the person must be thinking in his head. Was it mental distress? What is it that he must have been going through to take such a drastic, brutal, just unimaginable step?
Yes, certainly it was a brutal one. Killing your own children is not the easy one. So there can be certain things which we can work on. We can work on the delusions. We can think of that what the person must be going through. There can be a protective delusion of the person, where he has that feeling that I have to protect my children, that the world is too cruel to children, and my wife or anybody else, I cannot see my children with somebody else. So it is better that I kill my own children. So that is why he chose the place of a five-star hotel, where he thought of that I will give the best of the life to them before I give them the death. And second thing, taking them to the hotel, that he'll get the complete privacy.
I mean, at this point in time, at this point in time, we at this point of time are just, sort of speculating what may have been the reason for him to take them to a five-star hotel. I don't know. Was it because he wanted to give them one day of, luxury and the best
Complete
enjoyment?
luxury.
That's completely speculative. We do not know why it happened. Why did he pick the five-star? What was the reason?
But that is also the part of protective delusion, and that is also the part of his perceived ownership, where he feels that they are my kids and I cannot let them be with my wife. That can be also the reason of the revenge from the partner, that she did this, I will not let her be happy entire life. My kids and me,
that's
we are all going to be.
That's what the husband is
together.
saying. In his note, he has said that, I did not want my wife to take the custody of my children, and because I wasn't getting their custody, I did not want her to have the kids as well. That's why I decided to kill her. Ayushi Madan, also a psychologist, on the telecast with me. Ayushi, how do we deal with crimes such as these?
So, ma'am, as we are already discussing a very brutal case that has happened recently, I want to add one point here, that it looks quite that a person had a narcissistic personality with a self-esteem fragile, because he couldn't take that pain, that why I lost the battle. And nowadays we have seen that parents, they actually use the child as a weapon just to create a irreparable pain to the mother. So there can be reasons of the spousal revenge, a kind of a reverse psychological trauma, because of which he wanted to create that kind of pain to the partner, that if the children are not with me, then I wouldn't let them live along with you as well. So that kind of fragile self-esteem definitely has a reason behind this act, along with acute psychosis because of the irrational beliefs, or a case of a severe depression, whatever must be going, but that definitely has to do with his emotional instability and kind of poor impulse control that led to this kind of brutal act.
Also, Dr. Juhi Arora, the way the children have been killed, they have been strangulated. And can you imagine, how can a father do that to their children?
Of course, that's what I started the show with, the same thing, that it has been a shocker to each and everybody, I believe, in the nation, because the kind of a relationship that has done this, any person coming and killing somebody that is also not digestible. And now the father is killing their daughters. It is something beyond the imagination of someone seeing that a father taking the children to the room, they have keeping trust on the father, going to the room and then making them happy in the room, in the luxury hotel, and then strangulating even in the strangulating, you can feel that, Megha, I would want to comment on it. Once you're strangulating a single daughter, maybe the other would be making some force to stop the father, because how can a man strangulate two daughters at the same time? That is also no investigation has to be done on that part also, that how he has done that. Maybe in one daughter was there in the room, or she was there in the bathroom. What all has he has gone through, with all the children has gone through. And apart from any point you can come up, whether he's a madman, he's a unstable, he has some emotion disturbance, he's narcissist, whatsoever, under the law, ignorance, and under the law, the kind of a crime he has committed, nobody will, there will be no space for all these parameters. He can be saved out of these things. He has to follow the proper criminal trial. All the evidences will be taken consideration. The mental instability is not a part of a law that due to mental stability you can get through of this particular offense and you will be scot free. So it is nothing like that. He should get something which should be a kind of precedent.
Are psychological tests also going to be part of the police investigation and interrogation?
It can. It totally depends on what kind of medicines is he taking. Was he going under any psychological treatment, any counseling treatment, or a depression treatment, antidepressants? We do not know anything as of now. So it is very fast to say that, because investigation has to be done. The police has to prove that this man was under no influence of anything apart from, because had he been under influence of some toxic or some maybe some alcohol or something, that would have come in the reports also, because now I think he's out of the danger. That is what I've read so far.
Okay,
so
all right, fair enough. Sanjay Sai, coming to you again. So is there any way? I understand it's impossible, but how can law enforcement agencies make people's lives safe in our country?
It comes to law enforcement at a pretty late stage. And what our lawyer friend was talking about is insanity. That insanity has to fit in to the parameters of what is legal insanity. And that is very, very difficult. And a brutal case of this nature, I think if everything adds up in the manner which we are saying at the first instance, I don't find any case of legal insanity involved in this. As police comes at a much later stage, as I've told you earlier, now the issues are primarily three. One is the family net, and also the friends and neighbors. So if there is somebody who's facing mental illness, leave aside mental illness. If he's in mental distress or is not in a stable frame of mind, or there are some discrepancies which you find in his behavior, a deviant behavior itself. So I don't think that today the family, friends and people around, they're able to give you any sort of a support or succor or take him to a psychologist. So mental illness generally is seen as a stigma today, and still people are not taken. Leave aside mental illness, mental stress, or you take stress only. The second is the community part. So the community part is a bystander, and community, there is absolutely no community net which is available. And the third, and which is even more strange, is the government's approach to distress, stress, and issues of that nature. And these helplines these helplines are not able to provide any succor. The point is, what is very, very important is privacy and confidentiality, and the feeling with that particular person in whatever state of mind to reach that particular helpline, that individual, that psychologist, that community senior, counselor, whatever it might be, that person, it deals with you in privacy, and he has a track record of providing sort of advice which is beneficial for that person. We don't find anybody, family, friends, neighbors, community, or the governmental support system, which has a demonstrated capability of handling such issues of people in mental stress, duress, stress, whatever you call it.
Okay.
As far as the police is concerned, as far as the police is concerned, police at its very best can provide awareness, and that awareness will not go a very long way. All these cases are happening in isolated settings, which primarily means that either you are in a hotel or there is in a private place or some drowning. Similar cases happen, at least 6 cases have happened in last 3 months of filicide and suicide, both combining into one in different locations by father, mother, or all of them together.
You've already said that. I am also once again going to bring in Dr. Manisha Gaur. So, do you think, getting help from psychologists, psychiatrists may have gone a long way in averting a crime such as this?
Yes, certainly if the help from the psychiatrists and psychologists would have taken earlier, that would have saved the crime, because the plannings are not immediate. Hotel booking was not done immediately. No, it is pre-planned. Whenever a person is thinking of suicide, whenever the person thinks about suicide, the person always hints about it. The hints are given earlier, prior, in some or the other way, either to the close friend or somebody else. And if this person who is suffering from some delusion, say delusion of infidelity, if he feels that his wife is cheating, maybe it is true, maybe it is not true, maybe it is just his thought which is working like this, that wife is cheating. If that is there, then he has already started working on it earlier, that I have to protect everyone, I have to protect my family, I have to protect my children. And if he has that narcissistic behavior which was just spoken about, so that also again adds on that the family honor kind of a thing comes in, that it is my family and I am the ruler, and I have to take all the decisions about the family. So these all things can be protected if the person is taken to a psychiatrist or taken to a psychologist earlier, because we have several psychoanalytic tests which can rule out the disorders the person is going through, or the thought disorders or the thought processes the person is
Ayushi Madan, when it comes to divorce cases and contested divorces especially, there is so much mental trauma that the people who are fighting the case, fighting the divorce, are facing. Can there be any measures taken, any support be given to them when these cases surface? Because obviously they are reaching out to their counsels, the counsels are representing them and fighting the court battles. Is there a way to provide that protective shield by way of consultation, by way of providing some counseling, just to ease their minds because they're going through so much?
So nowadays the marital discord cases have increased so much. Unfortunately, people generally come up with so much of blame game because they are not able to see where they are wrong. They just want to prove the other person that how the other person is wrong. And that's why initially we always make sure that we take individual sessions to help them to vent out whatever they are having inside, because that helps in releasing that emotional distress. Then later on, we switch to the couple therapy sessions where we aim to improve and strengthen the bond. But in most of the cases, we have seen that many times the partners are seeing the child as a valued possession. So whenever they are just fighting the battle together, then also they just want to just earn it as a trophy. And that's why when you lose that battle of custody, many times they try to harm the kids only just to make sure that the other partner is facing that irreparable pain. Now in this particular case also, we have seen that the person was not able to take it, that the other person, that my kids will not be with me. And as rightly said by Dr. Manisha also, that there can be a delusion of infidelity. Right now, we are not sure what kind of issues were going in between them. But this definitely never justifies that you harm the child in any case. I very much agree with, and I go with Ms. Juhi also, that no matter whatever mental or emotional trauma he was going through, but then also it doesn't give you any right that you harm the child.
Fair enough. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast, sharing your views. I only have as much time, but I thank all my viewers for watching us on NewsX.